What do you think about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight coming up? What do you think about the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight coming up? Who do you think is going to win? Is that your prediction? Or who are you going with? Hey everybody, Coach Keith Kepner here. All right guys, the time has come. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul is right around the corner this Friday on Netflix. And, you know, a lot of people feel a lot of ways about this fight. I will say one thing I know Jake Paul has done is he's made himself the bad guy. And in this instance, Mike Tyson is the good guy. So it's all about marketing. And that's where it couldn't be more fitting to have Mike Tyson in this fight, because this is what Customato always talked about the entertainment portion, the exciting portion of boxing and it being fan-friendly. And this is fan-friendly in the sense that Mike Tyson is fan-friendly. And Jake Paul puts on good shows. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video, though, where I'm going to tell you not only my prediction, but also the number one thing to look out for in this fight that you're probably not going to hear anywhere else. And also, if you like this content, make sure you're subscribed, you like it. Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, no matter if they're approving or disapproving. Love the lovers and the haters equally. And also consider dropping me a super thanks, buying me a cup of coffee, because I'm doing this right now at 10 o'clock at night, and it helps keep me going. So we're finally here, guys. We're finally here on the eve of this fight. And I can't think of anything more than boxing is all about matchmaking, right? We think about boxing is all about the skills, all about the will, all these things. It's an exemplification of that hero type mentality, right? Of making it all right in one night and the poetic stuff. And that is there in boxing. But a lot of people talk about that. I'm going to try to talk about something, you know, my own interesting, different takes on stuff, right? So boxing is all about matchmaking. And I know Jake Paul has a good matchmaker because I know him. When I had a guy fight on the undercard of the Jake Paul-Nate Diaz fight last August, the second we get off the plane, we go in the nice swanky hotel room, greeted there right away by his matchmaker, who I didn't know personally before that, but he knew my dad real well, recognized the name Kepner, and had a lot of good things to say about my father. And he and other people on Jake Paul's team are the mastermind behind what is Jake Paul, right? And that's where Jake Paul has been very smart. You know, that reminds me of like when Henry Ford, I guess, was on trial for something, right? Something like with his newspaper or something like that. And they're questioning his knowledge of the world or whatever. And he said, well, I can just push a button and I can contact somebody, you know, through wire or phone or whatever, to get that information at any moment. So what does it matter what I know at this moment if I have good people around me that do know, right? And that's something that Jake Paul has done. So you got to give him credit for that. But with matchmaking, it's all about matching up the right styles to go against each other, but then also catching people at the right time. And this is the right time for Jake Paul to take Mike Tyson, right? It wouldn't have been the right time back in 2005 if Jake Paul was where he is right now. It wouldn't have been the right time, obviously, in the early 90s or the late 80s, right? It would have been what everyone thinks this fight's going to be, or some people, your casual fan. But those in the know that Jake Paul's been preparing for this. So that's what makes it a real 50-50 fight in a sense. But I think the matchmaker knows some things we don't know, right? Maybe he has privy to a little inside information. It's a possibility. All right, but let's talk about the fight specifics. So you have a few things that favor Jake Paul. So you have 2-minute rounds. That favors the more amateurish guy. Because as anyone will tell you, when you're more of a beginner boxer, more amateur, whatever, against a pro fighter needs time. When you're older, you also need time. Now, Mike Tyson is one of the exceptions where you could say he doesn't need that much time because he has power and he kind of bum rushes. But regardless, the more you spend time around a dangerous guy, the more your life is going to be dangerous. And the less time you spend around him, the better. So if you have only a 2-minute interim of danger followed by a minute, that's pretty good odds versus the 3-1 that would be normally in a fight over 10 or 12 rounds instead of what is, from my understanding, it's going to be 8 2-minute rounds, right? So it doesn't allow for Jake to get overwhelmed, tired, things like that. So that favors the younger guy. Another point, glove size. Favors Jake again, because obviously Mike Tyson, power puncher. So it's, if we can soften up the gloves with either 14, I've heard 16-ounce gloves, then that in theory favors Jake Paul. Also more coverage too, right? More coverage for Jake Paul to block shots. The smaller gloves, things get around easier, and that's trouble for Mr. Paul. Age favors Jake Paul, obviously. All right. And then health, right? Mike Tyson, the reason why this fight hasn't already happened, because Mike Tyson had a health emergency. We all hope he doesn't have a health emergency in the ring. This is why most sanctioning bodies wouldn't sanction this fight back in the day. But there's just so much money and opportunity. From what I saw from the fight promotions, this is going to be highly, highly viewed. So wherever there's money to be made, people will make money, even if it's at the danger of people, because people have lost their life, like George Foreman said, trying to give the people what they want to see, right? And we hope that doesn't happen. Last thing is activity, right? Activity favors, who'd you guess? Jake Paul. He's been more active. So you can say, oh, he hasn't fought the great champions that Mike Tyson has fought and everything else, and hadn't done it for as many years, but there's a lot to be said for activity. So you put all these things together, it's not looking good for Mike Tyson. But make sure you stick around for me to hear about what Tyson needs to do and some different things to consider, as well as my fight prediction and everything else. Also, I talk about, or I go around to my gym and I ask all of the coaches their predictions. So that's a fun one to look out for. All right. And then also, if you're liking this content so far, make sure you like, subscribe, consider buying me a cup of coffee, whether it's $2 or $20. $20 is a lot of coffee, right? Now, there is one factor in this fight, right? You probably know what it is, right? It's the factor that everyone's banking on, or not everyone, excuse me, because from what I understand, looking at the odds, I'm not very good at odds, but looking at the odds, it looks like everyone's favoring Jake Paul. But the reason why it's not why it's even a fight that people are going to, theoretically pay in the sense of get a subscription to Netflix or tune in to watch, is because obviously Jake Paul is just such a known name. Because Mike Tyson is such a known name, and Jake Paul is now such a known name for people to hate on. Again, when I was at his promotion, MVP's promotion of his fight in Dallas, Texas, I got to see a sold-out stadium screaming, F Jake Paul. And I was like, wow, Jake Paul is after that Floyd Mayweather money with this. And he might do it, because you guys all know, so many people, maybe you, I have to admit, I did too for a while there until I kind of learned my lesson, but tuned into Floyd Mayweather fights to see him lose. That's why people are tuning into Jake Paul fights. And it's a brilliant strategy. Kind of the anti-hero, I guess. But the one factor is the power, right? Mike Tyson has that monstrous power. It's what he's known for. It's what got him to where he got to, right? If you take away that power, it's not the boxing ability. It's the power, okay? And obviously, people have, only a few people have gotten into me and gotten into it in the comments about the power. It was partially skill, but he was also born with power, right? And yes, he's not devoid of skills, but let's face it, the power is the big equalizer there. And the power is the danger. If Mike Tyson didn't have power, this fight would probably not get made, and it would be just a complete canceling by society of this even happening, which makes you question, why is it happening, right? Money, right? Mike Tyson's making good money for it. Jake Paul's making good money for it. And where there's a lot of money to be made, people will go, no matter what the danger is. Now, putting aside the one wild card factor in this fight, which is power, let's talk about Jake's plan to win, what he needs to do, and let's talk about Mike Tyson's plan and what he needs to do. Well, my Mike Tyson plan is a little bit out of the ordinary. All right. So Jake Paul's plan, though, pretty ordinary. He needs a jab. He needs to move. He needs to shoot the right hand off the jab and shoot for the chest a little bit more, shut down Tyson's head movement, stuff him up, and tie up. Yes, Coach Keith is saying for someone to tie up. Why tie up? Because Tyson will tie himself up. As you saw in the open gym workout that he, or sorry, like in the press workout that he did. And again, you can't judge too much off of people's press workout, but there are telltale signs of things. He still falls in just like he always did. And just like he always did, he will, I will bet you good money, Mike Tyson will initiate clinches. And Jake Paul, I think, will be happy to initiate the clinch to shut him down in a 2-minute round. So therefore, not much happens. Now, also as well, it opens him up for punches, but those punches can be a little too dangerous for Paul to throw. So stick to the jab, the 1-2, lateral movement, not going back in a straight line, avoiding the corners. And then when Tyson gets too close and falls in and rushes in with punches, let's look to run him into a right hand, but also when he ties up, you accept the tie-up, shut him down, buy you some time, enough to win the round. Now, make sure you stick around to the end, where I'm going to tell you the number one thing to look out for in this fight. All right, now let's go off to Mike Tyson, right? What does Mike Tyson need to do to win this fight? This is where the unorthodox advice comes. Mike Tyson needs to take a little bit out of the playbook of Joe Louis, right? Because what I saw in that media workout, again, because it's so funny with the way things are filmed nowadays with like jerky cameras and things like that and real tight shots. You see Mike Tyson in those type of videos now, you think, oh man, wow, he's explosive, he's snappy. And I mean, I'm not saying he's like slow, okay? But he's just nowhere near what he was. And you can see that with the open press conference workout that he did, where you can see just not a lot. And again, you can't judge everything by workout, but you can kind of see some of these old guys factors come into play. All right. So in order to do that, let's embrace that. And it's a little bit of style change up for him, but he needs to slowly and methodically cut down that ring like Joe Louis would, right? Not rushing in like Mike Tyson would. Pacing, slowly cutting down that ring, using his hands for some defense, some catching to creep him down like a panther, maneuver him into the corner, and then line up the good 1, 2, or maybe 3 shots that are massively powerful and will do the job. That type of style of Mike Tyson, which, I mean, granted, we haven't really seen, but there are moments when he has a little bit of that kind of poise and stalking-like ability. That is the Mike Tyson we need to see. But it's one of those things that, and you may totally disagree with me, and that's okay. Comment below if you do or if you don't. But Tyson is so known for a style that it shoehorns him into this style where everyone thinks, oh, we just have to recreate the old Mike Tyson. Where the old Mike Tyson is not built, it's not an old guy style, right? It's not a style that a non-athletic, non-explosive guy can do, okay? Think about it this way. Think about how Floyd Mayweather fought when he was younger versus when he was older, okay? He adjusted some of his style. Think about a fighter like Roy Jones Jr., who didn't adjust the style and what happened and what would continue to happen, versus someone like a Bernard Hopkins that had a little bit more of that old guy style, right? Or just basic style, right? It's not based on athleticism. And the Peekaboo style is based on it, right? The Joe Louis style, it's not. That's why he needs to implement more of it, all right? And he's a boxing historian, so I know, if he were to watch this, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the one thing, though, in me comparing him to Bernard Hopkins and to Joe Louis, for instance, is his chin is down really well. So that could help him a lot. Because even though Jake Paul seems like he's relatively big, I guess 220 pounds, 30 pounds, it will help be some protection. That's also something, too, that's scary about this fight. As you get older, you get more susceptible to concussions. So that's concerning. All right. Now, here, I'm going to play for you where I went around my gym and asked our coaches, what their input was. And that's a lot of fun to get to hear some good thoughts from some good coaches. And then make sure you stick around for after that for my number one thing that you need to watch out for in this fight coming up with Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
So I'm doing a
asking all the coaches what their opinion of the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight is. And so, guys, this is Coach Dre, one of our best boxing coaches here at X3 Sports Athens. He's also a Golden Glove champion. And what's your opinion of the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight coming up this Friday? Who do you think is going to win?
I feel like it's going to go to decision, and Jake Paul probably going to win.
All right.
By decision.
All right, so bet the money on Jake Paul?
Bet it on Jake Paul for sure. Yeah.
You heard it here first. All right, guys, I'm here with Jakar, who is the head striking coach, Muay Thai coach of X3 Athens. Very good coach and pretty darn good fighter. What's your opinion of the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight coming up?
I'm going to have to say Jake Paul. And as much as it kills me to say that, Mike Tyson is fairly old. He probably will gas out. I think it will go to decision, though.
Okay, decision versus the stoppage. Okay, cool. Man, are we going to get anyone from Mike Tyson on this one?
I don't know. I mean, I would love to say Mike Tyson, but the odds are not in his favor. So,
all right. You heard it here first with Coach Jakar. All right, guys, so I'm going to be asking Kyle here, not only BJJ coach, but also a stand-up kickboxing coach. What do you think about the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight coming up?
For one, it's ridiculous. For two, I love it. It's great.
Who are you going with?
Jake Paul. Got to go Jake Paul. Tyson's 60, right? And Jake Paul's been training seriously. And he's
decision or knockout?
I think it's going to be a TKO. I think Tyson's going to gas, and then he's old, and then the ref's going to stop it.
All right, so it's not going to go the distance.
I don't think so, no.
You heard it here first, guys. All right, gang, I'm here with Coach Trey, one of the top elite boxing coaches here at X3 Athens. What do you think about the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight coming up?
Hate it, but you know, I'm gonna give a controversial opinion. Controversial. I'm hoping it's Tyson. Hoping it's Tyson. Not looking likely.
If you had to bet money on it,
if I had to bet money, I'm a betting man. I'm gonna go Tyson. I mean, he's looking good in his footage.
Stoppage?
What do you think? I don't think stoppage, but I think that Jake Paul is just not going to be able to do enough. He's not going to be able to deal with Tyson, and I think that Jake Paul, he doesn't have good cardio in the first place. Tyson is pretty explosive. I think after those first couple rounds, they kind of peter out, and then the rest of it's just going to be a boring fight. Nobody's going to like the last couple rounds, but that's what it's going to be.
So decision for Tyson?
I'm going decision for Tyson, yeah.
You heard it here first. All right, I'm here with Brett, partner of X3 Sports Athens. So, Brett, what do you think of the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight coming up?
I'm hoping Mike knocks him out.
That's what you're hoping for? Is that your prediction? Who are you going with?
If it happens in the first round, I feel good about the knockout. If it goes after that, younger man's going to be in better shape. I'd hate to see him win for sure, but he could.
Okay, but you're going with Mike Tyson?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You heard it here first. How long? You asked the best question because we did all this before we found out how long the fight is. It's 8 2-minute rounds is the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight. So what's your prediction, Coach Jeff? Coach Jeff is our strength and conditioning coach here at Athens X3 Sports.
My opinion is that it's going to be Mike Tyson, but also it's a lose-lose for Jake Paul.
Well, I mean, we're talking about it, though. That's a win.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, though, it's your opinion. It's not about my opinion.
Yeah.
So go with Mike Tyson.
So I want to go with Mike Tyson on this one.
Decision or knockout?
Knockout.
What round?
First round.
You heard it here first. To catch a predator. Did you know she was only 13? No. Hey, okay, I got you. Okay, so we got this big fight. I've been asking all the coaches, and everyone has their predictions. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Who are you going with, Coach Dean?
All right, this might be out of the box, but Mike Tyson is 60 years old, and he just had an ulcer, and he was in the hospital. I'm going Jake Paul. Prediction, it's a 2-minute round fight. They're doing 14-ounce gloves.
16.
Oh, they're doing 16-ounce gloves. Oh, well, yeah, it's going to go all the way probably. I got Jake Paul, unanimous decision. Mike Tyson's probably going to gas out in the 4th round.
You heard it here first with Coach Dean.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. It was a lot of fun. Got some good, interesting takes there. Like you'll see, the majority of people are going for Jake Paul. From my understanding, the betting markets are as well. So, and again, it doesn't mean power is the great equalizer, right? So, it is true that if Mike Tyson hits him with a hard shot, it could be done. That's correct. But I would say that the majority of people that are in the know that the card is stacked against Mike.
right? With the points I talked about earlier, you know that the probability of a Mike Tyson victory is very low. Very, very low. All right? And specifically how this is all structured. And then you throw the age on top of it. His last fight was in 2005. Holy crap. 20 years ago. And I know you got some big Mike Tyson fans that just want to believe. And again, I've been proven wrong, man. I'm not infallible. So I could be eating my words Saturday morning. But my take is that Jake Paul is going to win that by decision in this fight. All right? That's all things considering one factor. And here's my one factor that is the number one thing you need to watch out for in this fight. Is if Jake Paul goes to the body of Mike Tyson, it may go Mike's way. Mike might be able to land the shot he needs to land, to put him down or to maybe even knock him out. You see, when we throw body shots, we arbitrarily open ourselves up, and particularly a fighter like Jake Paul, right? A newer guy. When we're boxing against a heavy puncher, someone that leaps in with punches and likes to go after the head. Like, yes, Mike has great body shots too, but you know, you can make an argument that possibly his most deadly shots that we saw him drop the most people with were headshots. When you're going against a guy like that, then you need to make sure that you keep your shots for the chest and head. All right? When you start dropping down for the body, and I know you might think, I need to go down to the body to shut down the head movement, things like that. No. You go down, you shoot for the chest, right? So then it still gets the head and gets the shoulders, and what that does is it gives you protection. Every time you throw a punch, something opens up. When you throw a headshot and you do it correct, your body opens up and your head is relatively covered. When you throw a body shot, your head is going to be more open. One of those two things exposes themselves. So therefore, Jake needs to make sure that he hides behind his shoulders a little bit as he throws punches and keeps those shots for the chest and the head. If he does that, I think he's going to get the victory. But watch out for if he goes for the body, what might happen. He does that right hook for the body he does. Tyson comes up with that big left hook. Could be big problems. All right? But still, I'm going to say to go with Jake Paul on this one. And comment below. Love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you share, what you think. Consider, becoming a channel member, level 2. Buy me a cup of coffee. It's a great way to help support the channel and allow me to do more of these videos. By the way, look out for my next video coming up where I'm going to talk about overhand style punches, the advantages of it, the disadvantages of it, and the techniques of how to do it.